In this video, we're going to cover how to find endpoint. Let's look at the first example. We know the coordinates of point A, and we know the coordinates of a midpoint, and we are asked to find the missing endpoint. Let's call that missing endpoint point B. And then, because we don't know the coordinates of point B, let's call it X and Y. What we need to remember to solve this problem is the formula for the midpoint. We know the formula for the midpoint is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Now, let's first label the coordinates of point A and point B. So let's call coordinates of point A x1 and y1, and the coordinates of point B x2 and y2. Now all we have to do to plug in these values in the formula. So we will have 7 plus x divided by 2, comma, and we're going to have 9 plus y divided by 2. Now we know that if we add x and x1 and x2 and divide by 2, that gives us x coordinate of a midpoint, which in this case equals 4. Therefore, I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to make equals to 4. And then if we add y1 and then y2 and divide by 2, that will give me y coordinates of a midpoint, which is 5 in this case. Therefore, I'm going to write up 9 plus y divided by 2 equals 5. Now, all we have to do to solve this equation, let's start with the equation 1. So I have to multiply both sides by 2. Okay, so we will have 7 plus x equals 8, and if we subtract 7 from both sides, x will be 1. Okay, now let's do the same for the y. So we multiply the second equation, both sides by 2, and we will have 9 plus y equals 10, and then if we subtract 9 from both sides, y will be 1. So we just found final answer, which is 1, comma 1. Okay, so this is the coordinates of a missing endpoint. Okay, now let's have a look at the second example. So we know the coordinates of point A is -4 and -5, and the coordinates of a midpoint is -1, -1. So, and we are asked to find the coordinates of another endpoint. So let's call this another endpoint point B, and because we don't know the coordinates, I'm just gonna call it x and y. Now, to find the coordinates of point B, so let's first label coordinates of the A and B. So it's going to be, this is x1, y1, and the coordinates of the point B, let's label with x2 and y2. Now let's take these values and plug in the formula of a midpoint. So we're going to have -4 plus x divided by 2, and comma -5 plus y divided by 2. As we said in the previous example, so if we add x1 and x2 and divide by 2, that's going to give us x coordinate of a midpoint, which is -1 in this case. So I'm going to rewrite minus 4 plus x divided by 2, and then I'm going to make it equals to negative 1. Okay, let's look at the y coordinates. We know that if we add y1 and y2 and divide by 2, that's going to give us y coordinate of a midpoint, which is negative 1 in this case. So I'm going to make it minus 5 plus y divided by 2 equals to negative 1. So now let's solve this equation. So let's solve the equation 1 first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. We will have minus 4 plus x equals negative 2. And if I add 4 both sides, x is going to be positive 2. Okay, now let's look at the second equation. So let's multiply both sides by 2. We will be left with minus 5 plus y equals negative 2. And then if I add 5 to both sides, that gives us y equals positive 3. So final answer is going to be 2, 3. So we just found the missing coordinates of the end point.